How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson, and it is a beautiful day out here in Manhattan, out here by Columbia Business School and by Columbia University. I would like to give a shout out to both of those branches of the school, the main school and the business school, which is doing a phenomenal job out here in Manhattan. I would also like to give a shout out to St. Francis of Assisi Church out there by Penn Station. I do have stories that me, myself, Caleb Thompson, have written for their newsletter. Also, I have submitted paintings for their weekly newsletter. So if you are ever out in New York, in Manhattan, pick up a newsletter from St. Francis of Assisi Church right there by Penn Station. You should see it. It's not that far from Penn Station. They also have a bread line every morning. So if you ever come to New York, right here in Manhattan, right here by Penn Station, you will see that church. It is a Catholic church, despite your religion. The inside of the church, the upper church, is beautiful. Perfect place to go worship, take pictures. So go and check that out, guys, as well. And also pick up a newsletter. I write for them every week. I write stories for them every week, and I submit paintings to them every week for their newsletter. So go and check that out and read some of those good stories. All right, today we're going to be talking about, this is the House of Business Podcast. This is the place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and visions. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. We'd like to welcome you guys in. Thank you guys for just being a part of what we're building here at the House of Business Podcast. We are, I believe, at episode 40. They usually say probably beyond 40. I don't know the exact number, but they do say that, you know, a lot of podcasts don't make it past 30 to 40 episodes, but we are past that point, I believe. But, you know, hopefully we'll continue to go on. We'll continue to grow. I do believe that people are learning from this free information and knowledge that we're giving. It's just a great passion of mine to be able to give this knowledge to individuals to help them to understand the risk and reward ratio. I got that from Nature. The risk and reward ratio to being focused, to going after your dreams, to understand opposition, to be resilient. You know, without resistance, there's no resilience. So, you know, that's a big quote that I always tell myself every day. Without no resistance, there's no need for you to be resilient. You know what I mean? There has to be opposition. There has to be resistance. And that will determine whether you want it bad enough, if you're passionate enough, if it's your calling, if it's your destiny, if you're motivated enough, you know, if you're grounded enough. That resistance will help cultivate resilience in you. So keep going. All right, today's episode is going to be Focus is Currency. So as usual, if you've been on this podcast before, I always give you 3 main talk points, and I do that for the sake of time. And I also do that so it will be easier to follow those talk points, and I won't just load you down with a lot of information, but I will give you just a small amount of information, or a good enough amount of information that you'll be able to comb through it when it pertains to that particular talk point. It won't just be over here and over there. So I try to keep it where we have a certain flow, a certain trajectory, where the conversation is going, where the podcast is going during the duration of the time. So then once again, this title is called Focus is Currency. Now you're going to want to tune into this because this is going to be a good one. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Talk point number 1. This is what I want you to understand. The true value of focus in a distracted world is what we're going to talk about. Talk point number 1, the true value of focus. Now I want you to know that, like, in this age where there's like constant notifications, there's constant noise, man, focus is very rare. Now you have everyone. And I tell people this all the time, man, your resistance not only comes from a physical aspect or a physical point, but also a spiritual point as well. Have you ever seen someone get rid of someone? Let's say they get out of a toxic relationship. Now I'm going to use this in business as well. You get out of a bad job. I'm going to use a relationship because this can This can be tailored to every relationship that you've ever been in. I don't even care if it's a family dynamic. I don't care if it's getting away from your mother that wants to control your life, or getting away from your father that wants to control your life. You don't want to go to medical school. You want to be a pianist. You know what I mean? It's something that you were gifted to do, something that you know you can monetize, something that even if you did it for free, you will feel free doing it. And it's something that, you know, you can do effortlessly. But your dad wants you to go to medical school, and now you're sitting there suffering, carrying on a business that you could have been, someone could have passed that business down to you. As long as you were financially literate, you could have hired a doctor to run that company while your family bloodline still had control and got profits. You know what I mean? And profits from that company, could have profited from that company, and it could have still been in your family name without you physically having to be there working as a doctor in that clinic, or you know what I mean, whatever your dad passed down to you. You can hire someone for that position, pay them good. You can still own possession of that business, and you can continue to do what you need to do and just check on the financials from here to there and pass that company along. Some people sell it as well, and then just put the profits and invest in themselves for what they want to do, or the trust fund, or however they want to do it. But anyways, I want you to know that focus has become rare in a world that's just so distracted with noise, so distracted with just constant notifications, emails, friends, colleagues, even hobbies, even certain hobbies that you can, certain hobbies can be a distraction to you. Something that you really truly do love, that I don't even care if it's fantasy football. You know, if it's getting in the way of your focus of you taking care of your business, at least create some type of business operational system where everything is ran automatically, where you can break away. I know a guy that does day trading, but he sets a notification. He buys into the trade. He sets his take profit here and his stop loss at this point, and then he leaves. He just sets a notification. Whether it hits either one of those points, it would notify him and kick him out of the trade without him sitting there, have to be at the computer for 4 hours, or if he's on a 5-minute chart. You know what I mean? It doesn't take him sitting there all day, because he's become that good. So unless you have a skill set or some type of value that you bring to the marketplace, where you can be able to execute your job at such a high standard, where you can create a system that automatically monitors the progress of what you're trying to achieve, then you don't need to overindulge in your hobbies, as I'm saying. So stay focused. Focus has become rare, and it's the most profitable thing. This is the most profitable thing as an entrepreneur, and the most valuable resource is your focus. I want you to know also that your ability to sustain focus directly determines your productivity, your clarity, and ultimately your earning potential. So, your ability to stay focused, it ultimately affects your clarity, your productivity, how much you learn, how much you can get done, and ultimately how much that you can potentially earn in life. Because I want you to know that one thing affects the other. So when you're focused, you can be productive. Is that being productive toward learning a new skill set? Is that being productive towards trying to understand certain information that pertains to your skill set or pertains to your current position at work? And that helps you to gain clarity by being focused. Focus helps your productivity, and that productivity, the more that you can get done, helps you to gain clarity. And then that clarity is helps and your earning potential. The more you earn is a result of that productivity and that clarity gained. Your earning potential is a product of that, a byproduct of being focused. So we're going to move on to number 2. Distraction drains your financial energy. Man, it's a lot of things you could be putting your energy into. I know a lot of people that put their energy into things that will not help them. I've known people that will put all their energy towards trying to tear someone else down where their life is going down the drain. They can't even see that their life is going down the drain because they're so focused on what somebody else is doing. They're so focused on trying to stop someone else from being greater, stop someone else from trying to operate a business. This is the lowest form of shame and embarrassment that a human being could possess. For someone to put all their time, energy, and effort towards trying to hurt, harm, or stop someone else from doing what they want to do with their life, while these people don't even have control of their own life. That is the highest form of shame and disappointment to not only a person, but even God himself, that someone would waste all their God-given time on trying to destroy someone else's life. That is the most disgusting and the lowest form of value anybody could ever. That is the worstest thing anybody could do with their time. It's better if I would honor someone who sat there and made a hobby of smoking weed and don't get me wrong, I don't condone it, but sitting there smoking weed, growing weed, mixing different strands of weed, at least, you know what I mean, even though they're smoking weed or doing whatever they're doing, they are finding something that they're passionate about and they're working towards cultivating that skill set because that's something they're passionate about. Even if someone else think that they're wasting their time smoking weed all day and creating all, they can monetize that. But that would be more honorable than someone doing nothing with their life, taking payments to try to destroy someone else's life, or sit there and focus day in and day out on what someone else is doing when they have their own 24 hours. You're taking your 24 hours that God has blessed you with and you're focusing on destroying someone else. And I don't mean this as a business strategy. Now, you know what I mean? Let's tailor this subject to business. Now, when you're in business, you have to have a SWOT analysis on some competitors that could be potential threats, you know what I mean, to your business. And they're really not potential threats, you know what I mean? Business is business. There's going to be someone who has a coffee shop just like you have a coffee shop. There's going to be someone that has a food truck like you have a food truck, that has a nail salon like you have a nail salon. The thing is to stay competitive with your prices, stay competitive with your marketing, stay competitive with your promos and discounts, stay competitive with your subscriptions and your online or your email marketing, or you know what I mean, anything, app push notifications, create an app that gives the customer better deals, or you know what I mean, you come here and you buy 7 cups of coffee, you get the 8th one free. You have to find strategic ways to compete in the business marketplace without having to destroy someone else's life, to intentionally focus on destroying. If your coffee shop is doing better than mine, you know what I need to do? I need to at least hire someone who has a creative outlook on marketing, a creative outlook on business, a creative outlook on target market strategy. Okay, we see that they're taking all the high-end business, the high-end C-suite executives and the corporate people because of the way that the interior of their coffee shop is. The way that the interior of that coffee shop is decorated, it's for people who wants to come in, check their emails. It's more of a corporate community. I would take the community that's more of a, let's say, mid-20s, you know what I mean, that crowd that leaves the club, our coffee shop, their coffee shop. You have to find strategic ways to compete. You know, when I started the restaurant, there were so many restaurants opening up at the same time, especially like brunch bars. I wanted to start like a brunch bar, and we started with that concept of being a brunch bar. Then we understood that around that time there was Dunkin' Donuts that was open around that same area in Hoboken. It was other places that were open around that time. So we said, oh, let's not do 10 to 5 o'clock because we thought that we were beating that 10 to 5 o'clock. We thought we were beating those fancy restaurants that you could come in around lunchtime, 10 to 5 o'clock. 10 o'clock, we would have made enough money by the time that people are going on lunch, you know, so that didn't work. You know what I mean? And then we couldn't compete because we were newer in the area. We couldn't compete with the 2 p.m. to 9 p.m., 10 p.m. because that was a lot of upscale restaurants that people had reservations for that were already in the community over 5 to 10 years, and they were well established in that community. So you know what we came up with for after we did our SWOT analysis, we went over the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities that were available, and we went over the threats to our business that would keep us from scaling or keep us from drawing in customers. But you know what we did? We came up with the concept that said, okay, in Hoboken there is a young crowd. This is like a party town. This is like a college party town with no college. You know, I don't know if they have a college there, but there's a lot of nightlife. So around that time, we were saying, okay, so from midnight to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, from midnight to 5 o'clock in the morning, that is when we're going to open. We're going to be open from midnight to 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going to be like a brunch bar slash, it's going to be like a Waffle House, and it's going to be like a Waffle House and a Jack in the Box all combined in one. And then we're also going to mix cultures. Like you can get a blue cheese, a smoked blue cheese pesto cheeseburger, you know what I mean, with candy bacon. You can get curry wings, you know what I mean, like hot wings, but you know, you can get curry and feta hot wings, you know what I mean. So we mixed these cultures, but we also came up with the concept that is the best time for us to be in a new area that we haven't really fully established our presence with the community. One way that we like to establish our presence in the community is we like to do charity. You know, we would like to, you know, like we'll see some other restaurants, they come out with a new, let's say a kale salad. They come out with a purple kale salad, and it has let's say a mango vinaigrette, something like that. They may give away small cups of that outside of their restaurant before they introduce that item as a permanent choice or as a permanent selection on their menu. So you know what? So that's what they do. We didn't use that concept. We went about doing charity and giving away those items and giving away food. It was the same concept that they did, but we did it for the community in a way where it heightens our brand awareness with a different perspective and with a different outlook from the community standpoint. So the community is looking at us like we're helping the community, while these people are looking at, they're targeting customers. We're not targeting customers, we're helping people. And at the same time, with that help, we automatically raise our brand awareness, and we get to give back, because that is our one of our core moral values of our company in the first place. So anyways, distraction drains your financial energy. You know what I mean? The energy that you could use to make sure that you make enough money, the energy that you can use, that you could use to develop your skill set, to become more of an expert, a more professional in that particular thing that you love to do. You know, I don't care what it is, try to monetize it. You know what I mean? Like if you love to speak, like I'm speaking now, I give this information away for free. But if you love to speak, find a way to monetize it. I don't care what it is. Maybe be a life coach or do consulting calls, be a consultant. You know, I'm a real estate broker, but I'm a legal real estate broker, but I'm also a consultant too with another business, the House of Business. That's where this podcast was birthed from, the House of Business podcast. It's Mason D Affairs Incorporated, which is just in another language, but Mason D Affairs Incorporated is the House of Business. But the House of Business podcast was birthed from that company. So that is a business consultant company that I do own. But that's where this podcast was birthed from. So whatever you like to do, monetize it. If you like to make music, if you like to listen to music, you need to start a YouTube page and say, we're going to review some of the newest songs out there. We're going to start this YouTube page and we're going to review some of the newest songs, and I'm going to give you my reaction off of some of the newest songs that just came out. I like this song, and just tell people why you like the song. How does it make you feel? Do you not know people will pay to know how you feel? it's crazy. But people will pay, or people will view your videos. You would be surprised how many. I get on YouTube all the time, and I go and I look for business videos. I look for videos about real estate and buying land, and checking, like when you're buying real estate, you have to check the foundation of the house. You have to make sure that, you have to do a thorough analysis of the house. The outside of the house can look good, but the foundation could be cracking. It could be one muddy day, one rainy day or one rainy season. It could collapse the foundation of the house. You have $160,000, $200,000 house that now went down the drain that you've just paid. You may have remodeled the entire inside, but the foundation, or the house needs to be jacked up. The foundation is cracked, and now you just wasted all that money, but you still have the land. Either you can build another house, or you can sell that land to the city, or to the neighborhood, or to the city, and they could build a park maybe for the neighborhood. You may be able to sell that land to the city and pitch an idea of them contracting you. You can sell them the land and then pitch an idea for them to contract you to build a park for the neighborhood. So you can sell them the land, and they still can pay you a percentage of your money back to build a park, or launch some type of community program or dog park that would benefit the neighborhood after selling them the land. So that's like a double whammy. So that's something that you can do if you did lose that $160,000, $200,000 house, $250,000 house, by making that bad decision. But learn to protect your attention, like it's tightening leaks in your financial pipeline. It's so easy to be distracted. But if you can learn to protect your attention, what you give your attention to, it'll be like tightening the leaks or plugging the leaks in your financial pipeline. You know why a lot of people miss a lot of opportunities? You know why? Because they're distracted. If you would have just went to the store like you were supposed to go to the store, there was somebody waiting at the store that was going to connect you to someone else. But a lot of times people want to be just like everyone else, that they don't tell people what they like. They don't like to walk in authenticity. It's a lot of people that when they're around people, they change who they are just to be liked by the person who doesn't care about them. You need to learn how to be authentic. If you like rock music, listen to it. If you like pop music, listen to it. If you like skateboarding, skateboard. If you like basketball, learn the stats. Like what you like, and be unapologetic to what you like. You don't have to sit here and try to. I'm gonna tell you this: you do the right thing, people are gonna talk about you, and there's gonna be some people that like you. You do the wrong thing, some people are gonna like it, and some people's not gonna like it. So it doesn't matter. Life is too short. Time is too short to give your attention to people who don't care about you. To give your time and attention to the opinions of people who, will clap for you 1 minute and crucify you the next. So do what you need to do for your own life, for your own family, for your own kids. Become financially literate. If you are hanging around some friends, if you simply want to take a class, quit looking for validation. If you want to take a class to become financially literate, I don't want to live like this the rest of my life. I want to own two tiny homes, and I'll Airbnb those two tiny homes out. You can go online and buy a piece of land for $500. You can buy a plot of land for $500. You can put a tiny home there. I sell tiny home kits with my real estate company. So Paradise Gardens International Realty Company, we sell tiny home kits. You can get you a tiny home kit for $1,200. So under $2,000, you can get you a plot of land in New York, depending on what town you want to get it from. Put you a tiny home on that piece of land, and get everything that you need. You're going to need to get the toilet flush. You're going to need to run those lines, sewer, may have to dig up a sewer, or whatever you have to do. But for a total of just the land itself, find you a good deal, and the tiny home, less than, let's say $3,000, $4,000, you can create you an asset that will be reoccurring passive income. Probably you make $100,000 annually, you know what I mean, off a $5,000 investment. Some people may say, how do I get that money? Well, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You are young right now. If anybody is listening to this and you are young and you don't have bad credit, do not mess up your credit. Do not mess up your credit, because you can get a business, once you start an LLC, or once you start a business, a lot of times before you can establish business credit, you can still get a car in your business name if they run your personal credit, but it won't affect your personal credit. Your personal credit is just there as a vouch that you yourself, not your business, but you yourself is responsible, that your credit is up to date, but the car will still be in your company's name. So if I knew a lot of this stuff a long time ago, I would have never messed up my credit. I have multiple companies, but my company, I would have already had 2 or 3 business vehicles, you know what I mean, and in my company name. I would have already done a lot of things. I would have got extra lines of credit in my company name if I would have not messed up my personal credit. Because when your company does not have trade lines available where you can build your company credit, and these things will be reported to like Dun and Bradstreet, you know, and other credit companies, major credit companies. So these transactions that you make with these trade lines, or these trade lines that you open up, like your Net30 account. I use like CEO Creative. I use CEO Creative before to build business credit. But just like these different trade line companies, Net30 is a good one as well. There's another one that I can't think of that you can get great office supply for real cheap. You can probably supply your whole entire office, but I can't think of them right now. But anyways, I wish I would have known those things. So if I was more focused and paid attention, you know, at a younger age, I didn't have the information I had, but I would have been a lot further along by now. But just learn how to tighten up your attention, protect your attention, and the less wasted focus means the more consistent growth. The less you're distracted, the more you can place your time towards things that that will help you to grow. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna need some downtime. Don't just load yourself down with information to the point where you become mentally stressed trying to stretch your mental capacity. Don't become mentally stressed by trying to stretch your mental capacity intellectually. Don't do that. You know what I mean? But make sure that you set a time apart every day to grow. You know, I have a time from it can vary, but I have it marked on my calendar. Study your craft or read a book that pertains to your craft. You know what I mean? So every day on my calendar, I have a marketing calendar. I have a podcast calendar. I have a study calendar. So these are 3 calendars that I have. I have a marketing calendar for me to market every last one of my businesses. And then I have a podcast calendar for the rest of the year. I know exactly what I'm going to talk about I have 3 podcasts. We have the Words of Edification with Caleb, which is a Christian podcast. We have the House of Business podcast that pertains to entrepreneurship, which is what we're on now. And then we have the Morning Roasted podcast. That is a early morning podcast where we talk about affirmations, manifestation, where we're talking about the mindset, how we're talking about stretching your capacity and how that costs. We talk about resilience. We talk about motivation. We talk about self-discipline, things to help get your morning started and get your day started in the right trajectory with the right mindset. So we have all 3 of those podcasts that I do, and one launches on Wednesday and 2 air on Saturday. This one airs Saturday at 6 p.m. But you have to protect your attention. Let me put it like this. Less wasted focus means more consistent growth. It's going to take for you to strategically plan out your day, schedule out your time to make sure that you can be productive in a way where it's evident to you yourself. And a lot of times when you're growing, you may have grown you may have grown exponentially, but someone else sees it and you don't see it because you live with yourself every day. But just continue to set apart a time that you could grow every single day. This is our last point. This is point 3, turning focus into tangible results. What we were just talking about. Set clear, measurable and goals and apply laser focus. Even if you're not laser focused every single hour of the day, you need to have a time, just like a job. For 8 hours, I need to be laser focused on my craft or what I need to do to make sure that I can gain finances, or I can, that I could reap some type of earning or increase my earning potential in some kind of way, and also receive finances or generate revenue. You need to find some kind of way to generate revenue every day from your focus. But set clear, measurable goals and apply layers of focus. This transforms effort into income and ideas into execution. That's exactly what this does. Let me say that again. When you set clear, measurable goals and apply laser focus, it transforms effort into income and ideas into execution. So that is something that you really need to focus on. Create daily rituals. I say routines, you know what I mean? This word ritual just means something that you do that you know for a fact. What a ritual is something that you do that you know for a fact it has a certain outcome. A ritual is like a business operational system. But that's the same thing with a routine. That's just the choice of words that you choose. I usually say routine, but the ritual is basically like something that you do religiously. So a routine done religiously is called a ritual. But you know what I mean? And that can be applied to any routine that you have. But I like to use routine. Just create daily routines. Let's say it like that. Create daily routines that channel your mental energy towards progress. So whatever you need to do, if you get up every morning, you need to work out to get your blood flowing and your blood pumping. If you need to get up and you need to shave every morning, if you need to get up and you need to listen to a motivational video every morning, if you need to get up and meditate or pray, whatever you need to do every morning that you know will set the tone for your day, for you to execute whatever goals or whatever thing that you want to put your time, your attention, and your focus on, whatever those things are that you have. It was something else that I was going to say. That's what I'm tripping on, but I can't think of what I was about to say. It was important. But create daily routines that channel your mental energy towards progress, not perfection. You do not have to be perfect. Man, you know how many times I've messed up? Like, you know what I mean? Like the religious people will say, you know how many times I've sinned and fell short? It doesn't matter about that. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. A lot of people think that a lot of people focus their time on trying to make you mess up so that they can condemn you or shame you, and it can make them feel better about their life. The truth is, nobody's perfect. That's something you have to understand from the jump. Whether I make a mistake or whether I don't make a mistake, I still understand it's not about perfection. It's about grace. You know what I mean? It's about giving yourself grace. It's about allowing yourself to mess up, allowing yourself to make those mistakes so you can learn from them. And sometimes it's going to take you longer than others to learn from those mistakes. Sometimes you can pass a test, learn from a mistake, and then that mistake can show up in the form of a person, a job, a situation, a circumstance, and you can fail the test all over again 5 years later after you aced the test 5 years before. These things pop back up to retest you all throughout your life. So I can make it all the way to the 12th grade and then and become comfortable at the 12th grade and at that level, and I can get a kindergarten question and fail it. And you be like, what? I haven't even thought about nothing like that. I'm thinking so much on another level that I wouldn't even think to answer that question with such simplicity that it would make me fail at answering that question correctly, because I don't even think like that. But you will be tested on the entire scale of your life in its entirety, in the whole entirety of your life. So that is something that you really have to understand. But create those daily routines that channel mental energy towards progress, not perfection. Because focus, consistency compounds like currency. The more that you are consistently focus, it compounds like currency. Like I say, the more that you work, the more that you will get paid for working that job. But that's the same way with focus. The more that you are focused and consistent, the more it will compound, the more your growth will compound, the more that your connections, the more that your skill set, the more value you will be able to create. It will compound just like currency. So those are the three. So once again, this is the House of Business Podcast. This episode was called Focus is Currency. We gave you 3 talk points. Number 1 talk point was the true value of focus in a distracted world. when we are basically talking about that is, focus has become the rarest asset, especially to entrepreneurs, and the best resource. We talked about number 2, how distraction drains your financial energy. Every distraction isn't just time loss, it is a wealth leak. It is leaking your finance. It's diverting your energy from actions that build momentum and revenue. And then number 3 is turning focus into tangible results. And then we talked about how setting clear, measurable goals and applying laser focus. This transforms effort into income and ideas into execution. So once again, this is the House of Business Podcast. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. This episode was called Currency. Focus is Currency. And this is the place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and visions. We will see you back here next Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.